Welcome back. In this video we're going to be looking at the Keychron V7, Keychron's latest offering in their entry-level ABS plastic chassis and tray mount lineup. Before we get started, please check out my affiliate links and discount codes in the description below, which get you a discount on websites like Acco, iQnix, Melgeek, EpoMaker and a few others. The Keychron V7 is the 70% version in the V-series lineup and is a very useful yet compact layout with 72 keys. Side by side here with the 65% version, which is the V2, which has 67 keys or 66 plus the knob, you can see that you gain the extra 5 keys without the keyboard getting much bigger at all. In fact, the V7 is just 12mm wider but 6mm shorter, so it actually has a slightly smaller footprint than the V2. All the other specifications remain the same as the rest of the V-series keyboards. It has an ABS plastic case, a south-facing Hotswappable RGB PCB, a painted steel plate, screw-in stabilizers, a silicone case dampening pad, a foam plate dampening pad. It has wired connectivity only with no wireless. It's compatible with Windows and Mac, and you can switch between the two with the switch on the top. It's programmable with QMK and VIA, but check the product page as the key map usually isn't on VIA yet with the new Keychron keyboards. In this video I'm going to be building the Keychron out with the Acco V3 cream yellow switches, which I've already lubed with Krytox 205 grade 0, and a set of Acco neon MDA profile double shot PVT keycaps. I'll do a stock build and sound test to see what it's like out of the box with lubed switches, then I'll take it apart, mod it, and I'll do a modded sound test. So let's get out of the box and do the stock build. Well, that was an excellent stock sound test. All the V-series should have the same stock typing experience, not factor in the switches and keycaps, but this has not been the case. I have 6 out of the 9 keyboards currently available in the Keychron lineup, and the V4 and V7 had the best stock typing sound and feel, purely down to attention to detail in terms of factory lubing the stabilizers. Now we'll take it apart. Super simple as always, just unscrew the 8 case screws from underneath, flip it over and lift off the top case, then unscrew the tray mount screws and lift out the module. This is where I came up against my first quality control issue with this one. The Windows Mac switch on the PCB was stuck in the switch housing on the case. The switch housing is slotted, so lifting the module out is usually really easy, but it was jammed on this one for some reason. Once you have the module out, you unscrew the screws holding the PCB and plate together from underneath the PCB and take the module apart. Once you have the module apart, you unscrew the stabilizers and drop those out. This brings me to the other quality control issue I had, which is that several of the screws on this keyboard were massively over torqued. With the keyboard apart, I can see why this one was so good stock. They did a much better factory lube job on the spacebar stabilizer than usual. There was a thin lube on the outside of the stem and a small amount of what looks like Krytox 205 grade 0 on the wires and the inside of the stems. This is very good for you non-modders out there. The first mod I did was to clean the stabilizers, Holee mod them with pour on Holee mod stickers, lube the stems and housings with Krytox 205 grade 0, then lube the wires with Krytox XHT BDZ. Next I did the PE foam mod. I'll put a link to the foam I use in the description below. I installed the stabilizers and tested these before beginning to build the keyboard. On this one, I did the O-ring mod after a few comments on past videos. It's easy to do, you just need to make sure you insert the tray mount screws in the plate and install the O-rings before assembling the module. Once that was done, I assembled the module, and before installing it in the case, I added one layer of PE foam on top of the silicone case dampening pad to get more of a creamy sound profile. From here we just reassemble the keyboard, cut slits in the PE foam for the center pins on the switches, and install the switches and keycaps. So let's finish on some of my thoughts on this one. I like the sound and feel on this one very much. The O-rings definitely changed the sound and feel a bit, helping me on my never-ending journey to creamy goodness, and it's definitely something I will do on any future V-series builds. I remain a fan of the Keychron V-series, and this 70% option adds some useful functionality while maintaining a 65% footprint. Those extra 5 keys could be really useful if you set up some good macros. There were a couple of quality control issues on this one. The Windows Mac switch housing was stuck on the PCB switch, the other one was just over-torqued bolts, but one of them in particular really was tight, to the point of damaging something tight. The rest of the keyboard remains much the same as the rest of the V-series lineup. It's getting a bit samey for me now, but that comes with buying a bunch of the same keyboard in different layouts, and that's something to keep in mind when choosing your V-series keyboard. They are all exactly the same in terms of the build and components, so only the layout and the choice between knob or no knob are the only differences. So when you pick the keyboard you want out of the V-series lineup, you're literally just picking what layout you like. The only issue that is popping up for me as I test other brands and entry-level keyboards is that I'm not sure I look at the V-series as one of the best value for money entry-level DIY kits anymore. For the same money you can get a gasket mount DIY kit from Acco or Epo Maker, and those keyboards stretch your money a bit further by being gasket mounted in the first place, and they include switch mats in the kits, which is like an extra that you don't get with these kits. The V7 is still a great keyboard and a really nice layout, but I no longer think the V-series lineup represents the best value for money at this price point. And that's about it. Thanks a lot for watching, I hope you found this useful, and I'll catch you in the next one.